Manikam, Namaste, Namaskaram, Sai Ram, Jai Shri Ram, Swami Saranamayappa. Good evening, everybody. You are currently streaming live with us right here in Lanesia South on Athensville TV. This is the Journey Show, the show about exploring Hinduism as a whole. I'm your host, Kimera, Heeralal, and by my side, we got Dashnee, Manikam.
Manikam, everyone.
If you want to interact with us in studio today, please do so in the bottom column where it says live chat, or you could use our WhatsApp line, which you'll find at the bottom right of our screen. It's 074-660-5829. Evening, doll.
Good evening to you too.
How was your day?
It was good. Not very productive, but good.
What did you do though?
I had nothing much to do today actually.
You didn't go to college?
No, I'm off.
Oh, you're off?
Study leave.
Oh, I thought it was party time.
No. It's too cold to party.
Yes, it is. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as this is the episode of talking about origins of the Vedas. Yeah, so, what is Vedas? Do you even know what is a Vedas? What is a Veda or Vedas?
Well, the meaning of Vedas is knowledge.
Yeah. Okay, so I can say, hey, I have Vedas. Can you say that?
I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know
yeah.
about that. I don't think it's a slang kind of word.
No, like when you mix two languages, you know, like how the Zulus do it.
Yes.
And they mix the English with the Zulu.
So you know, yeah, okay,
Yeah,
I get it.
yeah. So I was wondering if you could say, oh, I have Vedas on that topic. Knowledge.
You do.
Yeah.
You all do, I think.
Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, do interact with us in studio today as we are, freely speaking our beliefs and our knowledge and our research, and you're welcome to interact with us if you feel that we are a little off par, and maybe you could even teach us something today, as this show is an educational show about Hinduism.
And we're learning as well, as we are on a journey.
Yeah. Alright, so guys, the Vedas, as Dashnee did mention, that it means knowledge, and it's basically the Vedas are a large body of religious texts originating in ancient India. And it's composed in the Vedic Sanskrit. The texts constitute the oldest layer of Sanskrit literature and the oldest scriptures of Hinduism. Yeah. So if you take a look at it, we're talking about knowledge today, basically.
Yes.
So we're going to see all the different ways and things about the Vedas, knowledge. And we're going to do this when we come back. Yeah? Stick around, we can talk about the origins of the Vedas. Stay where you are, we'll come back straight after this commercial break. Manikam, Namaste, Namaskaram, Sai Ram, Jai Shri Ram, Swamiye Saranamayappa. Welcome back, everybody. If you just joined us, you are currently streaming with us in the Nation South on Atonville TV. This is the Journey Show, the show about exploring Hinduism as a whole. And if you want to interact with us in studio today, please do so with the contact details that you find at the bottom right of your screen, or you can use the bottom column where it says live chat. I'm your host, Kimera Heeralal. By my side, we've got Dashnee, Manikam.
Hi everyone.
All right, so we're talking about the origins of
The Vedas.
Vedas. Please excuse or please pardon me for my pronunciation as I'm English speaking, right? So the Vedas. What can you tell us about it, or what do you know about it?
Well, to my understanding,
Okay.
and again research,
Okay.
and my opinion.
Okay.
So obviously we know it's knowledge. It gives us knowledge of our Hindu culture
Okay.
and a set of, say, rules and morals that we follow. That's obviously written in Sanskrit, and which our gurus or Brahmins would follow and teach others as well.
Would you say that the Vedas is like the Bible? Is it something like that?
I guess you can't. I don't think you can exactly compare
Yeah.
a Bible or any other religious thing. Especially, I feel every religion is unique in their own way.
Yes.
The Vedas, to my knowledge, it's set of rules of how you would, especially in our religion, there's rituals and a way to do certain things.
So it's knowledge of how to do things in the culture,
Yes.
not really like, okay.
So there's no, like, I would say,
It's
a
not like
quote
the-
for every day.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, it's different.
It does teach you lessons in life or whatever. I'm sure there are sayings that goes along in it further, but mostly ways of how you do things
Okay.
in Indian practice, in the practice of Hinduism, and
Okay.
prayers, and and to my knowledge, a lot of Brahmins, they study this
Yes.
to get the knowledge. So all the prayers that you see them doing in temples, they've got their knowledge from the Vedas, the
Yes.
Puranas, and so on.
Yes. Thank you so much. So okay. According to my knowledge, right?
Yes.
I know there are many different types of Vedas.
Yes, there are.
Can I say Vedas? All right. So I found only 4 when I was doing my research. I don't know about you.
There's a lot more, but I think we only aware of
The 4.
first 4.
That's 4. So for those of you that know about the Vedas better than we do, especially gurus, if you are watching the show, Guruji, please help. Assist us in understanding the Vedas deeper than what we already know.
Yes, and somebody else might have a greater knowledge in on the Vedas.
Okay, so going on with the show, with the knowledge that we have, the Vedas that we have. I wanted to use it somehow. Okay, so the 4 that I know about is it's called the Rig Veda.
Yes.
Okay, and is it Yajur Veda,
Yes.
and the Sama Veda, and not forgetting the Atharva Veda.
Yes.
Okay, so now each Veda has 4 subdivisions. Basically, the Samhitas, known as the mantras, and the benedictions, as she's mentioned.
Yes.
That these are like how the Hindus do certain rituals, certain ways to do or see through a prayer. There's certain things you have to do.
Yes.
Like, and you know what I hated growing up? I used to ask my mom while the guru was doing things in front, I'll see sticks, I'll see different things being thrown in a fire, ingredients.
Yes.
Funny enough, my mommy never ever explained those things. She just
Yeah.
like, shh, keep quiet, people are praying.
Because I don't think a lot of people actually know
They don't know.
where
It's
this
a-
knowledge is coming from. Again,
Yes.
the knowledge is coming from from our scriptures.
Yes.
So our scriptures is basically the Vedas.
Yeah.
And that's where along where the mantras come in, where
Yes.
gurus and Brahmins get their knowledge of the mantras to
Yes.
proceed with prayers.
So true. So guys, if you look at it now, we were talking about there's rituals, there's ceremonies, there's sacrifices. We've done this on other shows which we explained to you. And it's actually symbolic sacrifices. Let's say that nicely.
Yes.
Yes. Don't make it sound like you're doing witchcraft. Yeah.
No.
Right now the Brahmanas, meaning the commentaries on rituals, ceremonies, and sacrifices, and they call it the Upanishads.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, forgive me. But these texts discussing meditation, also the philosophy and the spiritual knowledge of the entire culture.
Yes.
Yeah. So some scholars add a 5th category, some. Okay. So it's called the Upasanas.
Yes.
Okay. And this is I think it's a different type of worship.
Not exactly. So the Upanishads and Upanasani, they
Yeah.
are So also Adandri. So those words are specifically used by, say, your gurus. They are learning.
Okay.
So they practicing that. So
okay.
this, they will call it that because it basically means that gurus or brahmins, they following that. And yeah, that word specifically would be for them.
So basically Brahman worship.
Yes. So
If that came out ugly, I'm really sorry.
no,
Very
it's
straightforward.
that. So
Okay.
that word, I think, would derive to that.
Oh,
So
the word I
it's-
can't say properly, apasanas. Okay. All right, so that's the fifth one of the
Yes.
Vedas. So we're going to do an entire show on just the Vedas, and each Veda will have its own show, I think,
Yes.
that we can cover. But if you want to assist us, drop us a WhatsApp. There's a number right there, 07466058829. We are talking about the origins of the Vedas. So, okay, so thanks for explaining to me the fifth one now.
Yes.
Now, the Vedas are basically, they call it Shruti, right?
Yes.
It means what is heard. I learned something new today. Now take a look at what Vedas actually looks like. Look to the top left of your screen. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what the Vedas looks like. That's a Sanskrit writing right there. Can you read that?
No.
You see, that's the thing. I call it the language of the priests, of the gurus.
No, definitely.
Yeah, because I mean, it's not like every day that you're going to use that language.
Yes, and
You know?
I think also to my knowledge again, like Brahmins and priests or gurus, as we will refer it as, they have studied to understand this
Yes.
Sanskrit, you know. So I think anybody who has to understand this, because there are, I'm sure, from India, people would definitely understand this.
Yes.
You know, they familiar with this. But say in South Africa, people whose mother tongue may not be this language,
Yeah.
they obviously have to study the Sanskrit language,
Sure.
and then it becomes they understand this.
So guys, the Vedas are basically what is heard, distinguishing them from other religious texts, which is called Smriti. I don't know how to pronounce it, Smriti. Now, it basically means what is remembered. Now, Hindus consider the Vedas to be, well, aparusya, and which means not of a man, and also superhuman and impersonal, authorless, revelations of sacred sounds and texts. Heard by ancient sages after intense meditation. Have you ever gotten to a point where you could hear things that are not here
Yes.
when you meditate?
Yes, because you must remember, especially if you're meditating spiritually,
Yes.
you are going into another dimension, as many people are known of your third eye, right?
Yes.
So you obviously, when you go into meditation, you are then putting yourself in that dimension, and your surroundings become different, and you obviously are in a different state.
Yes.
So I'm 100% sure you would obviously feel and hear different things, you know. Your mind is in a different space.
Talking about meditation, I gotta ask you something. This is quite personal, of my personal experience. Have you ever felt like things touching you?
Through meditation?
Yes.
Yes, I have.
And
What is
did you-
your take on that? What do you think? Or
I think it's you traveling spiritually. It's your spirit body traveling, not you, obviously.
definitely.
And it's also, it could be this, I call them samis, deities, gods. It's as if they're testing you to see if you lose your concentration, if you keep your
They're
faith
testing
through
you.
the journey.
I'm thinking exactly the same
Yes.
thing that you're saying. So I asked you, what is your opinion on
Yeah.
that? So I also believe that because meditation is another journey that is hard.
Yes.
You know, meditation is very difficult,
Yes.
and if you read things, books, or learn about it, you'll come across that people say it's not going to be easy. But the moment you close your eyes, your mind is going to be thinking something else. You're going to think what you're going to want to eat later. You're going to think about the stress. But that is the discipline of meditation. There's going to be things around you or anything that's going to test
Yes.
if you're willing to reach that kind of peace.
There was a time where I felt things wrapping around my neck, and I was freaking out. I really was. But I told myself to focus, and as I focused, it really got tight as if it were like a snake, and it
Yes.
actually released.
Yes.
After I actually counted, it was a minute.
Wow.
It was a minute, because I was focusing just on light. I wasn't doing a specific prayer or a specific chant. It was just, I was focusing just on light.
Yes.
Yes, that was it. So guys, do interact with us in studio today as we're talking about the origins of Vedas. But while we are waiting for you guys to respond or even join the conversation, let's go all the way to London. Yeah?
Why not?
Why not? Let's kick it all the way to London as we got Shashika Sain standing by in London. Now she's going to explain her point of view and her belief as to what are Vedas. Check her out.
Namaste, I'm Shashika Sain. Today I would like to discuss perhaps the oldest text ever written, and that's the Vedas. The Vedas are our original religious text on which Hinduism is based. Veda actually means knowledge, so it's the original wisdom and knowledge which was actually written down in text form and has been handed down through generations. Hindus believe that after intense meditation, sages heard these initiative revelations of sacred sounds from God. So various sounds were heard over a period of time. It's not just on one day, but a period of time. And they were realized only by the seers, and then they were passed on to the disciples. So the Vedic version states that all creation evolves around sound. It actually originated from sound. So first there was sound, and then sound produced space and ether, and then all the elements that constitute matter. So the sense of space is sound, the air is feeling, the fire is a form, the water is a taste, and earth is a smell. The ancient rishis knew how to manipulate sound to create energy, which modern scientists only found out centuries later, that you can actually shatter glass by certain sound frequencies. This is actually written in our Vedas. So you can imagine the sophistication and the knowledge they had of harnessing the energy. So these were mantras, and they had to be heard in order to get the exact science. So, certain frequencies. So they were actually called shrutis. Shruti mantras are heard mantras. They have to be heard in order to be pronounced precisely for them to work. So we have two thoughts. We have what we call shruti, which were the heard ones, the heard mantras, and then the other is smriti, which I'll talk to in a little while. So for thousands of years, all these texts were handed down orally because they had to be pronounced properly and get to the gist of the actual frequency. The Hindu belief that the Brahman, or the universal spirit, is eternal was not created. It's always been there since universe. And this also applies to the Vedas, that Vedas, the teachings in Vedas have always been there, and we've only just understood what it all meant and was encapsulated and then handed down. The Vedas is the eternal divine knowledge that is heard by humans, and it's not some superhuman agency. And the Vedas are integrated into every Hindu's life, whether they've read it or they know about it. So the Vedic mantras are recited in all Hindu prayers, religious functions, marriages, any other auspicious occasion. So they are there in our daily lives, although we may not know the actual sounds and the meanings. So let's look at the contents of the Vedas. So there are 4 Vedas, and they're called Shruti, and they are made up of 4 compositions, and each Veda is then further divided into 4. So the first Veda was called the Samhitas, and these are the most ancient parts of the Vedas, consisting of hymns and praise to the god. The second one was Brahmanas, and these are the guides to the priests on rituals, ceremonies, and sacrifices. The third one is Arankyas, which are philosophical texts on rituals, ceremonies, sacrifices, symbolic sacrifices. So these are the actual philosophical texts which give the meaning to all the rituals that we do. And the last one, perhaps the most known ones, are the Upanishads. And these discuss meditation, philosophy, spiritual knowledge, and used on a daily basis, whether one really knows about the whole Upanishads or not, but certainly the teachings are encapsulated in all the meditation and philosophy, Hindu philosophy that we have. The Samhitas are further divided into 4. The first one is Rig Veda, which is over 4,000 years ago. And this is consisting of 1,028 hymns over 10 books praising the God and the universe. The second one is Yajurveda, and this is a handbook that's used by the priests for performing all the Vedic sacrifices and rituals. The third one is Samveda, And this consists of 1549 stanzas of chants and tunes that we sing during sacrifices. And the last one is Atharveda, which has got 760 mantras consisting of spells of charms to cure diseases, long life, protection against disaster, and also contains some philosophical hymns. So we had hymns for everything from praising the gods to warding off illnesses, for auspicious occasions, and a collection of nearly 5,000 stanzas which had to be learnt by heart. And it survived, so there's some strength and truth in all these. Vedas have 6 supporting branches called Vedangas, which is actually the limbs of the Vedas. They are, first one is Siksha, which is the actual intonations. Second one is Vyakaran, which is the grammar. The third one is Jyotish, which is astrology. Nirukta, which means meaning of the words. Chandas, which means a meter. And Kalpa, the rules. And these, according to the Puranic traditions, the Rishi Vedvyasa compiled all the 4 Vedas along with the Mahabharata and the Puranas, which we'll discuss later. And then this was brought to his disciples. The first one was Paila, who started the oral tradition. So the original Vedas are still preserved in the minds of the Brahmins, who have learnt it by heart and transmitted them in a form of chanting to students for over 7,000 years now. There are still gurukuls in India which young students go to learn these mantras, and they become very popular over a period of time because they are seeing the positive impact it's now making on mankind today. So you'll see this chanting of mantras when you go to any religious place, and you'll see the ambience has got such a peaceful and a softness to it, as though as the universe is coming to one. In contrast, Smriti means what is remembered. It's actually written down as you would write a book of law, and it's written by Manu, so it's called Manu Smriti. It covers topics like creation of the world, the source of the Dharma and the 4 social classes, law of karma, rebirth, and final liberation. So it covers the aspects of our basic Hindu ethos. The Shruti mantras, they're the ones that were heard, have to be pronounced exactly, precisely, in order for them to work. They were created by God and then revealed to the sages. And then, in contrast, the Smriti mantras are actually human works based on Vedic knowledge, for example, philosophy, theology, religion, and they all have to be remembered. So one is heard and one is remembered. And that's the two thoughts that we have in our Veda system. Vedanta is now the orthodox approach to Hinduism that reduces the emphasis on rituals. It's the study of the Upanishads and the subsequent commentary, and to correct any slight differences one might have interpreted. So it forms the basis of modern Hinduism, and that we have our Atma and we have our Brahma, which is the absolute, and how we attain moksha. So this has been now documented in the Vedantas, which is a new form of the reformed form of Hinduism, which is being practiced today. So I hope you enjoyed listening to that snippet of a fascinating religion.
Thank you so much, Shashik Gasai, all the way in London, for sharing with us what are Vedas. So now we have a bit of an understanding from other people and other people's perspective. Interact with us in studio today if you are well learned on the Vedas. Yes, it'd be nice to learn. Alright, so do interact with us in studio today. There's the contact details there, and you can use the bottom column right there. Alright, we'll come back straight after this commercial break.
You can do anything. All you need is determination. And a fresh pair of these nallies. But what's the point of looking like Injay game if all your money is on your feet and your dreams go up in flames? In this world of doing it for Ikram, do you want a bank that takes your money or a bank that takes your money seriously?
Manikam, Namaste, Namaskaram, Sai Ram, Jai Shri Ram, Swamiye Saranamayappa. Welcome back, everybody. If you just joined us, you are a little late as we start streaming at 7 o'clock, but hey, it's fine, better late than never, right? And well, you are watching The Journey Show, and we're still exploring Hinduism. Now, for those of you that don't know us, I'm Kimera, this is Dashnee.
Welcome everyone again.
We're talking about the origins of the Vedas, right? But before we get to it, let's keep the show a little vibey.
No, definitely.
Yeah,
I'm gonna play a little song.
Let's have some entertainment coming in today. Okay, so I don't know if you know Riyanka Mantri.
No.
Okay, now she did a song. Well, you know what the songs are like, Tevarams, right?
Yes.
Like Lord Shiva. For those of you that don't know, I was taught today that Tevaram actually means it's Lord Shiva's songs. So today we're going to do Sutrinai Vediyan Tevaram. Check this out.
Sottunai Vediyan Sothivaanavan Pottunai Thirundadi Porunda Kai Thora Sottunai Vediyan Sothivaanavan Pottunai Thirundadi Porunda Kai Thora Kattunai Pootiyor Kattalil Paachinam Kattunai Pootiyor Kattalil Paachinam Kattunai Pootiyor Kattalil Paachinam Nattunai Avada Nattunai Avada Nama Sivayave Nattunai Avada Nama Sivayave Illaga vilakada Irul kedupada Sollaga vilakada Soti ullada Pallaga vilakada Palaram kaanpada Nallaga vilakada Nama Sivayave Maapinai taruviya maathor bhagatin Kuppinai thirundadi porunda kai thora Maapinai taruviya maathor bhagatin Kuppinai thirundadi porunda kai thora Naapinai taruviya Nama Sivaya pata Naapinai taruviya Nama Sivaya pata Naapinai taruviya Nama Sivaya pata Yettavalarthamaka Yettavalarthamaka Sivame Yettavalarthamaka Idukanillaye Yettavalarthamaka Idukanillaye
That was amazing by Riyanka Mantri. Thank you so much for that performance, guys.
Beautiful.
We don't know. Sorry, guys. A lot of people are complaining that the network is bad in South Africa today.
Yes.
So we apologize for that. It was actually a full 9-minute song.
Yeah,
Well,
that's a
8 minutes
beautiful
45.
song.
Yeah. All right, that was Sutranai Vediyan Tevaram. Yeah.
Dedicated to our Lord Shiva.
Hey. The destroyer. I like saying the king, the destroyer. What do you refer to him as?
The destroyer.
The destroyer.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you just joined us, you're a little late. We're talking about the origins of, well, the Vedas. Now, what more can you tell us from what we've already shared with the viewers and what Shashik Hussain has already shared with the viewers? what else is there to discuss about the Vedas? Well, the origin of it.
The originality of the Vedas.
Yeah.
Well, we do know that it means knowledge.
Yeah.
So I think we'll just recap of what we
Okay.
spoke about. So we know that it means knowledge.
Yes.
So it has the knowledge of our Hinduism and practices and etc. like mantras and
Yeah.
reasons why we do prayers. And Brahmins now would study this to get a greater knowledge.
Yeah.
And that does all the prayers at temples. And and what is your perspective so
Honestly,
far?
to me, it was just about how rituals are carried out
Yeah.
in our culture. That was my wisdom and knowledge like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, I mean, that was just my reading. I'm not gonna lie, my family didn't teach me anything. My family, my background is quite modernized.
Yeah.
And this only started happening where I decided to take my spiritual path and actually learn how the culture actually works and what each thing means. And then eventually, hey, look what you're doing, you're sitting on
Yes,
the
you're
show
on your
today. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the Vedas. We're talking about what each person or different places and different people and different individuals actually think it is. But what we're stating today, we won't say it's facts, we'll say it's in our research.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, look at the various Indian philosophies, right? And the Hindu denominations. They have taken, well, differing positions on the different Vedas. Now, as we were mentioning earlier, there are so many different Vedas.
There is a lot.
Is there a fact or documentation somewhere about how many Vedas there are?
Well, I guess there are a lot of information. You'll come across PDFs on the internet where you can download, and then it does explain all. They are like, it's really long. There's a lot of Vedas that you would have to go through to understand. But obviously, if you're not understanding Sanskrit, you have to get the translated one.
You speak Sanskrit. I mean, look at that. It's on the screen. You can see it right next to Dashnee's head.
Yes.
That is Sanskrit. Can you understand that? If not, you have to go back and study as if you were starting from grade 1 again. You know?
Yes, like I think even with any culture or any language,
Yes.
you start from the bottom.
Reading and writing.
Yes,
and
because everything, your sentence construction, it all follows.
everything, every language, it's structured the same
Yes,
way, basically.
it is.
Yeah. So if you had the opportunity to start learning it now, you're still young. You're 20. So
I would,
you
but
would.
it will be like same like how we have grades in normal school. It's basically the same.
Yeah.
Because when I also went to Tamil school, it was you start off grade one, like preschool, grade 1, grade
Okay.
2, and there's a matric to you write your matric in. Okay, I know with the Tamil language.
Yes.
It goes that way.
Okay, so guys, there are something called, as you can see the picture on your screen, right, next to Dashnee's head. Now, I mean, if you look at it, that is Vedic texts.
Yes.
Right, that is what one of the pages look like in the Vedas, right? And I mean, the term Vedic text is also used in two distinct meanings, right? Now, the text composed in Vedic Sanskrit during the Vedic period, also known as the Iron Age in India, well, it's called Iron Age India, Vedic period.
Okay.
Okay, and now also number 2, any text considered as connected to the Vedas or a corollary of the Vedas.
Interesting.
Sounds quite cool. Interesting. Interact with us in studio today if you have information on what Vedas truly are about, its originality. Let's find out the origins. Let's discuss the origins of the Vedas today in the show. We'll come back straight after this commercial break.
The ultimate accessory, the latest shiny thing, mesmerized. Trying to keep up, but never getting ahead in an endless cycle of spending. In this world of constant upgrades, do you want a bank that takes your money or a bank that takes your money seriously?
Manikam, Namaste, Namaskaram, Sairam, Jai Shri Ram, Swami Saranamayappa. Welcome back, everybody. If you just joined the show, you are watching The Journey, exploring Hinduism as a whole. I'm your host, Kimera, Heeralal. By my side, Dashnee, Manikam.
Hi everyone.
Alright, so before we cut to commercial, we were talking about the fact that Vedic Sanskrit, right, what it actually means, Vedic texts, what they actually mean and how many they are. So I did mention there are 2. distinct meanings.
Yes.
Okay, so we talked about texts composed in Vedic Sanskrit, and we talked about any text considered as connected to the Vedas, right? I don't know if that made sense though, but what I explained, did it make sense
Because
to
you just have to put it together. I don't think anyone can read that and be like, okay. I think it takes time to like, okay, this is what it means, you know?
Yeah. All right. So the corpus of Vedic Sanskrit text includes like the Samhitas, okay, also mantras, as you
Yes.
mentioned before, right? And now, if you look at the Vedic Samhitas, this consists of the Rig Veda, the Yajur Veda, the Samaveda, and the Atharva Veda. Now, most of which are available on several recessions,
Yes.
also known as Saka. All right. So, in some contexts, the term Veda is used to refer only to these Samhitas.
Yes. So like, so I think a specific Veda will go according, like it has their own knowledge
Yes.
on that specific thing. Because I've also read something. This, like, say a Veda will say it's a whole book, but it's actually broken down, as you said, subdivisions.
Yes.
So I think that explains that there's one for every single thing that we do.
Yes.
Mantra, for every single thing that we do.
Nicely explained, no?
Yes.
So guys, so in some contexts, the term Veda is used to refer only to these Samhitas, as we mentioned before. Dash started to explain herself in detail. Now the collection is basically a collection of mantras,
Yes.
right? Now this is the oldest layer of the Vedic texts, according to our research, right?
Interesting.
Yeah,
It is.
and which were actually composed between the circa 1500 and 1200 BC. For those of you who actually studied or researched those times, I don't know why our elders, or my elders rather, let me speak for myself, did not actually educate me about this. And you know, if they, I think, okay, as naughty as I was, I think if they did put it in front of me, I would have actually looked at it, especially if there were pictures.
But I think also, like, it depends what kind of a background. As you said, you come
Yeah.
from a very modern background.
Yes.
So if you had to speak to someone that comes out of a very cultural, or where they grandparents or forefathers now followed this and had knowledge, your parents and grandparents, they would be able to now explain to you because they knew.
Yes.
But I think the knowledge comes much further than that.
Yeah.
Like their grandparents and whatever needed to explain to them,
Yes.
for them to carry that knowledge to the following generations. So yeah, but you have the opportunity now to learn.
Yeah, now we're doing it. So now we're currently talking about the Samhitas, right? Now the Samhitas actually contain invocations to deities like Indra and Agni.
Yes.
So to secure their benediction for success in battles or welfare of the clan, the complete corpus of the Vedic mantras as collected in Bloomfield's Vedic Concordance, where I did my research, this was in 1907, guys, and this entire book consists of about 89,000 paras, meaning metrical feet, of which 72,000 occur in the 4 Samhitas. So
Interesting.
everything that we're doing is breaking down into 4. Did you
Yes,
notice?
it is fourth.
Yeah. So interrupt with us in studio today as we are talking about the origins of the Vedas, and I think it's getting quite exciting.
It is.
It is,
This topic is very interesting.
All right, so as we're keeping you well entertained and well educated, let us not drop your vibes and bore you. Coming up next, we have Deshan Style and Idu all the way from Durban. A lot of applause for you. All right, today he's performing for you Tangamani Mandabatal. Check him out.
Om Shakti! கொடுப்பான் குழந்தைய போல் நடப்பான் நம் உடனோயாடு கடுப்பான் குத்தவை பிள்ளை கொடுத்தாய் முத்துமணி கொடுப்பான் குழந்தைய போல் நடப்பான் நம் உடனோயாடு கடுப்பான் ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் அம்மா ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் அம்மா ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் தங்கமணி மண்டபத்தில் தங்கமணி மண்டபத்தில் அம்மா தங்கமணி மண்டபத்தில் மங்கையில் கரசு எங்கள் தாய் வந்து வீட்டிருந்தாள் நாம் வாய்மொழி கேட்டு நின்றாள் சமயத்தில் காத்திடுவோம் தங்கமணி பாத்திடுவோம் கண்ணு புறம் அவர்தான் அவர் கண்ணருளை புரிந்தார் மகமாயி திருசூழி அம்மா காளி கருமாரி அம்மா மகமாயி திருசூழி அம்மா காளி சாமுண்டி ஓம் சக்தி அங்கையர் கனியவள் செங்கமலர் பாதம் சிங்கம் சுமந்தவரும் அவர் சிறப்ப நமக்கு வரும் அங்கையர் கனியவர் செங்கமலர் பாதம் சிங்கம் சுமந்தவரும் அவர் சிறப்ப நமக்கு வரும் இனி சிறங்கி கிங்கனிடையில திங்க நிந்திமி ஒளியெதிரும் அவள் கண்கள் ஒளியும் இதம் இனி சிறங்கி கிங்கனிடையில திங்க நிந்திமி ஒளியெதிரும் அவள் கண்கள் ஒளியும் இதம் ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் அம்மா ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் அம்மா ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் தங்கமணி மண்டபத்தில் தங்கமணி மண்டபத்தில் அம்மா தங்கமணி மண்டபத்தில் மங்கையில் கரசி எங்கள் தாய் வந்து வீட்டிருந்தாய் நாம் வாய்மொழி கேட்டு நின்றாள் சமயத்தில் காத்திடுவோம் தங்கமணி பாத்திடுவோம் கண்ணு புறம் அவர்தான் அவர் கண்ணருளை புரிந்தார் மகமாயி திருசூழி அம்மா காளி கருமாரி அம்மா மகமாயி திருசூழி அம்மா காளி சாமுண்டி ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் அம்மா ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் அம்மா ஓம் சக்தி ஓம் சக்தி ஓம்
Om Shakti!
Ah, Shakti.
That was beautiful Dashan style and Naidu. For those of you who don't know him, which I doubt, I think everybody knows this
They
chap.
should know him.
He's brilliant, he's amazing, and that was, Dashan style and Naidu performing for you Tangamani Mandapatal. I hope you guys enjoyed that song. Now, you know, I'm not embarrassed to share this with you. Before the show, I even asked Dashnee, what is Tangamani? Remember we were talking about it?
Yeah.
Because we got the script from our director and we were like, what is this? You know, like,
I think it was the word Mandapatil.
was it Mandapatil?
Yeah.
What did it mean?
So according to, again, we had to do some more research. 'Cause we were-
Why were we in studio?
Yes, so it's like I think it falls under a certain genre.
Oh yeah, the different types of music.
Yes.
So yeah, okay. So it's a manga.
I think it's a specific genre that will go for the mother. That music is
Yeah.
for the mother. Yeah.
Okay, kind of makes sense though. But yeah, you see, we're learning every day. We would learn in studio
Yeah.
before we even do a show. Like, what does that mean?
We're doing our work, guys. We're really doing our work.
All right, interact with us in studio today as we are talking about the origins of Vedas. Don't go anywhere. We'll come back straight after this commercial break. Manikam, Namaste, Namaskaram, Sairam, Jai Shri Ram, Swamiye Saranamayappa. Welcome back, everybody. If you just joined us, you are currently streaming with us live in Indonesia South. With Dashnee, Manikam, and myself, Kimera, Heeralal. You are watching The Journey. It's about exploring Hinduism as a whole. Now, we're talking about the origins of the Vedas, yes? And, so looking at the Vedas and what we've explained, we end up with the Samhitas. Now,
Yes.
that's under the Vedic.
Yes.
I'll nearly say Vedic astrology. Sorry, the Vedas.
Yes.
Now, if you look at the Brahmanas, right? The Brahmanas are prose texts that actually comment and explain the solemn rituals.
Yes.
You're saying it correctly. Solemn rituals. Now, as well as expound on their meaning and many connected themes. Now, each of these Brahmanas is associated with one of the Samhitas of its recensions, which makes a lot of sense.
It does.
Yeah. So what's your take on this now? Now we're going into a subdivision of the Vedas.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there must be like thousands of Vedas.
No, definitely there is. That's why you have to study this,
Yes.
You have to know everything.
This
In
feels
terms
like-
of especially if you're now practicing. If you're
Yes.
practicing,
Yes.
it's important to know, I feel, to know everything, to go through it the right way.
This feels like campus all over again. It does.
It does. You're on another
Yes.
journey of learning.
Yes, see, when I was studying, it felt exactly the same. I mean, you think it's only about this specific thing, but
Yeah.
there's subcategories into learning to make that one thing, big thing work. Like, I wanted to be a sound engineer.
But
guys.
what about the
Yeah.
it's like the cables in between.
Right.
It needs to be in the right places,
Did you know that I was forced to study music, grade 1 music, because
Awesome.
I was like, no man, that's something I don't want to do. And then no, it's part of the course. It's either you take it or you don't take it.
It's
Yeah, then I also had to learn electronics. So obviously now we're doing cables, but now I can officially build cables. So looking at the Vedas, there are subcategories. There's Brahmanas, and there's something we just mentioned. The Vedic.
Yeah.
What do we call it?
The Vedas.
Yeah, under the Vedas there was the Samhitas.
Yes.
And then we ended off on the Brahmanas.
Yes.
So there are subcategories to the Vedas, and it's say we broke it up. We only know the 4 Vedas, and now we've gone into the Samhitas under the Vedas, and now we're under the Brahmanas, which is quite confusing. It can confuse you.
It can.
And if you don't understand it, you'll be lost.
You will.
Hence, that's why we need you, Guruji.
That's why I also believe that personally our culture is so strong that with everything, even when you're learning, it is so strong and energized that sometimes
Yes.
it's hard to understand. That's why you need that guidance, and there is guidance out there.
Yeah. Now looking at the first 2 that I shared with you, now there's also something called the Aranyakas. Alright? And this is like wilderness texts, they say. Or they can say forest treaties, if you want to
Yes.
call it that, right? Now, they were composed by people who meditated in the woods as well, recluses. And are the third party of the Vedas.
Yeah. So
Right?
I think to my understanding,
You can.
you say this is the yogis and
Yes.
if you look back and you also see stories, they were the ones that meditated in forests and all of these things, and then they meditated and they got answers from the divine, and I
Yeah.
think they are also a hand in the
Yes.
Vedas,
Wow.
to follow this, to put it out there.
Yeah. So if you look at it now, we're talking about the Aranyakas, right? Excuse my language, my pronunciation rather. Okay, so now looking at the Aranyakas now, the texts contain discussions and interpretations of like the ceremonies, which we mentioned, that's what the
Yes.
Vedas are. And it's also got the interpretations of ceremonies from the rituals that we spoke about.
Yes.
Also the symbolic rituals,
Yes.
which we said is respectable, to not just say, oh, we sacrifice, our culture sacrifices. That sounds so evil.
Yeah, like I think with every, say, with whatever you do, now the Veda will explain and
Yes.
give a mantra to it and deeper knowledge. It's, I think on a whole the Vedas is a deeper knowledge of Hinduism. We know the basis of it.
Spiritualism.
Yes.
Can I make that? Is that a word? Yeah, spiritualism.
Yeah.
Interact with us today as we're talking about the origins of the Vedas. It's quite an interesting topic of conversation.
It is.
I believe today is Yoga Day.
It is.
She
It's
told me that.
International Yoga Day
Yeah.
as well as International Music Day.
Is it?
Yeah. it
Okay,
is.
so everybody's celebrating.
So
in
all
Bali.
of the people who are singers and artists
Yeah.
and who teach yoga, it's a day that I'm sure they value a lot.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we're coming towards the end of our show, and we always do this at the end of the show, don't forget the 108 principles of the value system. All right. So today's value is at number 24. Do not beg and borrow. Earn your money.
Interesting.
That's nice.
It is a nice one.
Do not beg and borrow. Earn your money. What's your thoughts on that one?
I think I have so many thoughts to this.
If I ask my father for money all the time, is it a problem?
No,
It's a joke.
no, it's not. I think this principle has many meanings to it.
A lot of like, that one is living off the parents. She must go work or he must go work, and it's so sad that South Africa's economy is like falling.
It is.
Not falling, fell, broken.
It's on the ground right now.
Yeah, no. A lot of folk are like, no man, we're gonna end up just like Zimbabwe, which is actually sad. But anyway, looking at the fact that there's no jobs and there's no opportunity, I personally try to help others, and I have like this whole group thing with online vacancies.
Yes.
And I swear to God, they are either ridiculous with their salaries, they don't want to pay, and it's basically, for me, I think it's slavery.
It is. A lot of people feel this way in corporate, that they are doing more than what they're earning for. Like,
Yeah.
the companies are just using these people, and people are realizing what companies are doing. I
Yeah.
don't think people realize they would study so hard, go and work, and then they feel like they made it in life, because that's what we've taught. You need to
Yeah,
study
we're taught
and
this.
you need to go work. And yes, it's correct. It's good. We need to earn a living these days, because we live in South Africa and things are not cheap.
Yeah.
But I think people have caught up with what corporate is about, and how they take advantage of someone.
True. So guys, if you are celebrating a birthday, happy birthday! Happy birthday!
Happy birthday.
May you see many, many more. And you know what? You're allowed to give your shout-outs live on the show. Remember, this is a show for the public. Don't be shy. Interact with us. Even if you're just saying Manikam, Namaste, Namaskaram, Sairam, Jai Shri Ram, Somyesam Namayappa. Anybody is welcome to just greet. Even if you say yo, 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 what's up, it's okay. It's an open platform for everybody.
Please interact.
Yeah, we want the interaction. We want the community or the people. No, wait, not only the community. We want the entire globe to communicate with us.
Yeah.
Let's hope our director can, press the translation button.
So we know.
Just now they chat to us in Sanskrit. Then
And
what do we
we'll
do?
be even more happy. And they might be laughing at us, because what are these people saying?
True. Although what if this is okay, we are streaming on some people's Facebook as well. I know we are on Facebook, so you get that translation at the
Yes,
bottom.
yes.
Or YouTube also does it,
Yes.
right? So yeah, they'll understand us, man. I think they will.
And please correct us. Give us your opinions, your knowledge.
Yeah. We could have been taught the incorrect thing. Indians they can alter their stories.
To what like I said, there's either people's they belief of what they've carried on from their grandparents, and then there's the scriptures.
There's actual truth, and then I call them granny's tales.
Yes.
When you go anyway, I don't know about you, but when you go to funerals and stuff, there's always this one old auntie that thinks she knows everything.
No, I think these days it's a lot like that. It's good to hear this perspective about things. I love learning from old people. I absolutely love it.
Yes.
From the tales or myths, whatever you can call it,
Yeah.
you learn something from it.
That's true.
Somewhere along the line, they're on the
But
right.
they lose themselves somewhere.
Yes.
I think they get too excited.
They do.
But it's cute because they're old, and some of them are lonely.
Yes.
But no, man, don't teach us the wrong things, man. Then you end up in situations like me when you're like, oh my god, I was actually told this and I was taught that, but this is what I'm reading. And you're like, wow.
I think sometimes it's better to read it than listen to someone. They always say,
Yeah.
follow your heart.
Yeah.
And don't do what other people are saying. Don't
Yes.
anything that you hear. It's not always the truth. It's what they believe. Also, another thing when it comes to prayers, because you see somebody else doing it, don't do it. You don't know the reason, or they follow it from their family, from their ancestors, you know. It's their ancestry
Yeah.
work. So what's meant for you what's meant for them might not be meant for you.
True.
So, you know, do your own soul searching. What's meant for you? Go back and see, you know, what was I supposed to do? Don't do things that weren't meant.
Sorry, you know why I'm laughing? My dad always says, don't do what I do what I tell you to do.
No, what parents is different. They're like,
Yeah.
they right all the time.
My house, my rule story. No, man, you know what? Elders and adults out there, if you are watching the show and you have kids that are still growing, and can I just share something, my personal advice to you? As they are growing up, do the right thing and teach them the right way. Whether it's in culture or whether it's in just playing down morality.
No, definitely.
Teach them the right thing. Don't lie to them, because you end up with, like, you know, whatever you taught first is what sticks in your head.
No, definitely.
And then the second opinion comes, even if you're telling yourself that's the truth, that answer was wrong, but because it was taught to you by someone that you care about, it somehow stays in your brain.
And you will fight for what that person so dear told you.
Yes,
Like if
it's like loyalty.
Yes, so if, for instance, your mom told you, no, you have to eat green apples every day, and
Or you'll die.
or you will die, and somebody else, and you go out into the world. Remember when you're young, you were
Your mom and
limited.
dad is your hero.
Yes, and you're also limited to people. When you get older and you meet other people and
Yeah.
you network, is then when you will realize that there's different thoughts and ideas about it. So it's not that green apple is not going to kill you. You know, explore the other apples. There's red apples too.
Do you know one day, because of my grandmother, guys, may her soul rest in peace, right? Hey, Shilama, check this out. She told me about the black cat.
Yes.
It must never cross your path. Now, would you believe I was coming home from production work, guys, and this was now 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Do you know what I had to do? The black cat ran across the road. I slammed brakes in my car, and I found another route, and it took a lot of petrol, guys. But I don't know if it's really
I think
true.
also like it instills like a fear that something might happen if
You don't want to find out.
Yes, so it's precautions, like, you know, it's in your head that, you know, you're not supposed to do this.
Yes.
You're not supposed to leave your
And
head
'cause you
open and walk
respect
on
your
head.
elder,
And you
you know?
respect it because, you know, they, in some way, they do know more than we do.
Yeah.
In some way, and they do have more knowledge,
Experience.
So they have stories for days. They can tell you why
Yeah.
that cat is bad. They
Yeah.
can tell you a lot of stories of why. So if you ask them why, you have the whole day to listen to why.
Alright guys, that's all the time we have for today, folks. We're going to do this again tomorrow, same time, same place?
Yes.
Yeah, no load shedding, it's Thursday. I saw the no load shedding.
I was so happy.
Yeah.
It changed though, because we were gonna have a full schedule tomorrow,
Yeah.
but it changed.
It changed. It changes. Yeah, South Africa. I'm still proud though. Anyway, guys, from myself, Kimera, Heeralal, and Dashnee, Manikam. Well, Manikam, Namaste, Namaskaram, Sai Ram, Jai Shri Ram, Swami Saranam Ayyappa. Good night, everyone.